The new main event for Kansas City is going to be 5 rounds between Ian Garry and Carlos Prate.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about, is everyone overlooking Ian Garry? Dana has just announced Ian Garry versus Carlos Prate, as Jeff Neal has pulled out of the fight with an injury, and it has been rescheduled for April 26th, the main event of UFC Kansas City. This fight is very short notice. Gary's probably known about 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks probably, max. But he's definitely been in shape. I think he's training for another fight coming up, because the last time he fought was against Shavkat at 310 in December. It will be over 4 months by the time he gets back in the octagon. And when he's in his prime, you want to be getting in there at least 2 times a year, and he's sticking on schedule. And if you look at his schedule in the last couple of years, it is kind of insane. But Ian Garry is the more experienced fighter in this matchup, and Prate is taking up a completely different fight compared to Jeff Neal, and a lot more dangerous fight than Jeff Neal. I will admit that Carlos Prate has the advantage on the feet with the power he holds in his hands. But I will point out the level he's faced up until now is not anywhere near the level of Ian Garry. Neil Magny got hit with 1 knuckle and got KO'd. Any good shot was KOing him that night after coming off that knockout before. Even though Ian the Cut Garry, has some pea brain and he's a vegan, for some reason his chin is actually good. He is hittable, and he has been hit before, and he's been rocked before, but he's shown very good recovery skills from that, and he himself is a very skilled and technical fighter. He does have dinosaur-like arms with a shorter reach than Carlos Prate, but this is the longest frame, tallest frame Carlos has faced so far in the UFC. Carlos's grappling is untested. I will say, due to the fact of him coming from the fighting nerds, his grappling should be to a good standard, but it won't be to the standard of Ian Garry, who's been training with Charles Oliveira on and off for years, and nearly submitted Shavkat, and it was a very, very close fight against Shavkat, who is one of the best grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Carlos Prate is nothing compared to that on the ground. But we have seen Ian Garry deal with dangerous strikers. The most dangerous striker in the division he faced, MVP. MVP is the best striker in the division, that's a fact. He's a better striker than Carlos Prate, but he does not have the power and the danger in his hands like Carlos Prate. He ain't KOing these people in one punch like Carlos Prate. He might have used to be in his prime or at Bellator against these lesser guys, but he's not in the UFC. Every fight he's had in the UFC has gone to decision. Out of his 3 fights, 3 are decisions, all went 3 rounds. So he is not as dangerous as Carlos Prate on the feet, but in this fight, Ian Garry showed the ability to keep someone down. A long, tall person, 6'2", in Michael Venom Page. 6'2" in Michael Venom Page, keeping him down the whole round. And Michael Venom Page ain't no slouch on the ground. He beat Carlos Condit on the ground in a grappling match, in an only grappling match. Obviously, that isn't UFC grappling, and we don't know what Carlos Prate's level grappling is, but it will be nowhere near Gary's, and that is for certain. I feel disgusted for me even saying this, but the only way Prate is winning is an early round KO, because this is a 5-round fight. This is Carlos Prate's first 5-round fight of his career in the UFC, and he smokes. So he's saying himself even a pack a day sometimes. And you going into a 5-round fight against someone proven to have 5-round fight cardio and good cardio management in Ian Garry, someone that can tire people out Only chance Carlos Prate has is a early round KO. Early round KO TKO. In the first or the second round. When it's getting into the later rounds, it's over for him. He is not winning a decision. For people that think he would, you are wrong. This is one of the hardest matchups that Prate could have got next. Because he would have been fighting probably a Wonder Boy, a Jeff Neal next. He was not meant to be fighting the number 7 next. This is a massive fight for him, a massive opportunity. And he does have the chance to do that second round KO. But I just don't see it happening. Ian Garry has faced knockout power before in Shavkat. He has faced dangerous strikers before in MVP. And he's been proven that he can do what is necessary and has the fight IQ and make the adjustments necessary to deal with these types of people. And Carlos don't have the cardio that a Shavkat has or the wrestling that a Shavkat has. Obviously his striking is better, way better. But the power, we're talking about the power. The fact is, grappling is probably Gary's best attribute at the moment in his game. He nearly choked out Shavkat. If that happens to Prate, he ain't surviving. Surviving that. He's not surviving that. You don't have the neck Shavkat has. You don't have that thick neck. He ain't surviving. And if he keeps on, he'll keep on going to the ground, round after round, getting more tired, defending submission attempts. And obviously, Ian Garry didn't go for as many submission attempts against Shavkat, but that is because Shavkat is a very good grappler, a very good wrestler. It won't be the same against Carlos Prate. Ian Garry will try more submission attempts because he knows that is his way to finish this fight, and that is what he will do. I am predicting Ian Garry round 3 submission, and this is how. I think that Ian Garry will start well on the feet because Carlos Prate usually starts slow. He'll get some good shots, but at some point in the first round, we'll probably see him get rocked, and that's when he'll go to his bread and butter in the grappling. Ian Garry has good leg kicks. He uses his teeps well, and Prate does intend to just march forward. And Garry does have the slight reach advantage in this matchup. He needs to be focusing on the counters in this fight, which he is good at. He needs to make sure that he does not let Prate close the distance, because he does not have the clinch advantage here or the power advantage. He needs to stay away from Prate as far as possible unless he is taking him down or on the ground with him. I think we're going to see Prate do well on the feet, even do well defending submission attempts. But as the rounds go on, as the takedowns keep happening, as the gas tank keeps going down, we'll see him tire out. And I think we're going to see a round 3 submission by Garry. I will say Prate is very, very dangerous and has the opportunity and skill to knock out Ian Garry in the first 2 rounds. I just don't see it happening in this matchup. Maybe if we had more to go off in the grappling, I would be saying something different. But from what we have to go off, and from these fighters and from these fights, I am picking Ian Garry round 3 submission. Like and subscribe for more. Let me know who you think is going to win. Am I right? Is Ian Garry going to win? Or will Carlos Prate KO him and destroy the cock in a bit?